This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Tuesday morning to you. This is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM channel 158. Gil Alexander, Kelly Midland alongside.
Hey, yo.
On this Tuesday, as I said, a numbers game. Un partido de números. And for those speaking in Spanish today, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Excited for the launch of the NHL season. Jonathan Davis is just in studio.
Yeah, Jake Hahn will join us here in about a half hour. Host of The Point, the fantasy hockey show on Sirius XM NHL. We will talk 2025-26 NHL season as we have a potential three-peat from the Florida Panthers.
That's right.
To begin the season, which is our third stab at a three-peat in the last decade.
Really?
Well, because we had the Lightning who won back-to-back, and then we had before that, like 10 years ago. Oh, God. Penguins back-to-back. Let's go. Hockey guessing lines with Kelly later on the show. No, I'm kidding. We'll talk Survivor Week 6, me hypothetical, Kelly reality. But I will give you there's a bunch of options that we'll go through, and we'll see where Kelly might land. But I'll give you my thoughts on all. Mark Borchard on the baseball playoffs. Man, is that good. We'll get into yesterday's games. We'll get into today's games with him. Drew Dinsick will join us as well, as he normally does on Tuesday to talk Week 6 National Football League. Paul Sporer as well on baseball. I should not bury the headline there. NFL Power Rankings. I don't know about you, but man, oh man, mine are in tumult. They're all over the place.
Yeah. Not as exciting as last week. I don't know.
I thought way more.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought last week was really exciting. So it was more fine-tuning for me this week.
Good for you. Mine is more, who do I really think is good?
Number one changed, though.
Number one changed for me, too.
That's probably the big tease.
Do we have the same number one?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
Number one change for both of us. A little later on, Jeff Erickson, fantasy. Tyler Shoemaker on the WNBA and college football. What don't we have on this show?
Really got everything.
You ever get in one of these sports betting ruts where you think the universe is telling you something? Last night about plus 147 dog or something like that. I can't remember what she was exactly in tennis. 3 match points, squandered, lose. On the heels of the Cardinals and Rams debacles. And then, I had Kansas City last night, and let's get into that.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville 31, Kansas City 28 on Monday Night Football. Congratulations to all that cashed with Jacksonville. Let's not chirp about it, though, this morning, as we shouldn't with anything, especially Survivor, by the way.
What a game.
Dumbest people in the world are the Survivor chirpers. But this game had, I don't know where you land on this ultimately, but let's just go through this a little guessing line style, because the handicap I had that I would win on the Chiefs based on Jacksonville mental errors, that should have manifested. Game starts out, Jacksonville's second possession after Trevor goes over the line of scrimmage and then passes the football. First mental gaffe. They got to go 3 and out. I'm like, there you go, Trevor. Kansas City, second time they have the ball, 9 plays, 72 yards. They overcome a 2nd and 24 after personal foul penalty on Hollywood Brown. Mahomes to Tyquan for 32. Then 3rd and 9 at the Jacksonville 38. The big play, 3 plays later, Mahomes to Kelsey from 2 out. Flag thrown for an illegal pick on the touchdown. Mahomes lobbies for the flag to be picked up. Said, look, I'll do what he said to the refs. You ready for this? He goes, look, we're on the 2-yard line. The block was in the field of play. How can it be beyond 1 yard? Flag picked up. Touchdown, Kansas City, 7-0.
Breaking news, stars get calls.
Well, he specifically triggers people, right, when that happens. Because your restaurant, your garden variety restaurant quality quarterback does not make that happen.
No.
But he does.
No. You also rarely see Mahomes get that fired up about a call, too. No.
And by the way, that's why they run that play there, because they have the math of the 2 yards going for them.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville, subsequent drive, down 7-0 now. 4th and goal to Kansas City 1. Trevor lunges Drew Brees style, knocked out by Nick Bolton, fumbles. Karlaftis recovers. Kansas City proceeds to go 97 yards in 5 plays. Hunt for 33. 2 plays later, Mahomes to Brown for 16, to Tyquan for 34. Mahomes in from 9, 14-0. Chefs. 10:44 left of the second. Now, after a delay of game on 3rd down and questionable PI bailing them out to extend the drive, then what should have been a Kansas City pick deep, but 2 defenders ran into each other on deflection, Jacksonville completes a 13-play, 70-yard drive that took 8:06. Trevor to Parker Washington from 3 out, 14-7. 2:38 left in the half. In the second quarter. Kansas City, 3 and out. Okay, now this is where Jacksonville becomes Jacksonville. So Kansas City gets a 3 and out on the north side of the 2-minute warning, but they cleverly let 32 seconds run down on the north side of the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
Right? Realizing, well, we don't want to give Jacksonville time. They only have one timeout. Let's just not run a play here. Do all teams understand to do that? They don't, but Kansas City does. And then after the 2-minute warning, knowing Jacksonville, again, only having the one timeout, but Jacksonville then stupidly does not use their last timeout after the third down play with the clock running and wasted another 35 seconds so that Jacksonville starts at their own 8 with 54 seconds. They go nowhere after a holding penalty. And we go to the locker room at 14-7. Jacksonville doing Jacksonville things. Jaguars doing Jaguars things. If I hear Duval one more time, I'm going to lose it. All right, third quarter, 14-7. Jacksonville, first time they get the ball. Trevor to Hunter. Travis Hunter, 44 yards. Lawrenson from 10. A 7-play, 87-yard drive. We're tied at 14, 8:40 left in the third. Then Kansas City matriculates. And this is the play of the game. This is all you need to know about this game. All the other stuff is a sideshow because this is a 14-point swing. Kansas City, 2nd and 3 at the Jacksonville 3. Mahomes picked by Devin Lloyd, 99 yards to the house. Touchdown, Jacksonville, 21-14. Instead of 21-14 Chiefs, or at a minimum 17-14, it's 21-14 Jacksonville the other way. And then Patrick Mahomes does the tennis thing, which triggered a lot of people on Twitter who have never watched a tennis match in their lives. He applauded Devin Lloyd. Did you see that little clap?
No, I did not see that.
A little clap, like, okay, let's get back in. That bothered some people. Kansas City, 62-yard kickoff return, nullified by penalty. Boy, the refs really had an impact on this game. They had a punt. Jacksonville, second place, 2nd and 7 at their own 15. Trevor picked by Trent McDuffie. PI on Jaden Hicks, uncalled. Kansas City set up at the Jacksonville 19. 2 plays later, Hunt in from 5. We're tied at 21 with 12:20 left. Then it was 24-21 after a little sunk, Cam Little, that is, a 52-yard field goal. And then Kansas City goes 12 plays, 86 yards, 6:23, Hunt in from 2. 28-24 Chiefs. Now, Jacksonville has 2 timeouts left from their own 40 with 1:45 left because Butker kicked it out of bounds. How many times have we seen a kicker do something bad in a high-leverage moment in a football game this year?
Yeah.
Add Butker to the list.
It's only going to get worse, too, right? Or it's only going to keep happening because these guys are trying to, land it in the landing zone.
I kind of love that they added this to the sport of to the game of football.
I'm obsessed with it.
I mean, whether you're short of the landing zone, in this case, it went out of bounds. So they start at the 40, 3rd and 7 at their own 43 after Trevor takes an ill-advised sack. Trevor to Thomas Jr. for 33. Beautiful pass. Then to Diami. Washington Commander great Diami Brown for 13. Then 1st and 10 at the 11 with 48 seconds left. Incomplete. Then Trevor takes a delay of game.
Yeah,
This is just... This is what this team does, and this is why this team cannot be in your top 10 power rankings, Kelly. I'm sorry I haven't seen yours. They can't be. There's just too many mental mistakes. Then, by the way, did you catch after the delay of game, he let the next play clock run down to 1 second? So that Kansas City had a running start. He still gets it to Diami for 2. And then Jacksonville uses their last timeout. So 3rd and 13 at the 14 with 38 seconds left and a PI called in the end zone on Jamari Conner, which, by the way, was the correct call, even though there was no chance it was ever going to get caught.
Yeah, 100%.
Ball placed at the 1, and then you know what happened next. Lawrence gets tripped up by the right guard. He falls down. He tries to pick himself up. He falls again. Then he gets up a second time, somehow untackled by Jerry Tillery. Touchdown. Jaguars 31-28, only 23 seconds left. Kansas City gets flagged for a phantom hold on the kick return, and that was the end of that. Couldn't go anywhere with it. Mahomes with a heave late that didn't get close to the end zone.
Did you see the Chris Jones replays?
Oh no!
On the I didn't notice it live either. I think he's catching a lot of heat this morning on that Lawrence touchdown. He's just standing.
Oh, he's
just standing at the line, because he thought he was going to go down multiple times. He's just standing up, and it looks real bad on replay.
Tillery was the guy who he lunged his arms, and Trevor got right out of that. I don't know what you read into that game when all is said and done. Like so many of these games, it's like is the result the true reflection of what happened there? Mm-hmm. Again, the 14-point swing play is the single biggest play of any football game. You can't have assuming they score there, minimum field goal, right? You have to assume. So it's 10 to 14 point swing. That won't happen every game. Though I will say this, how many times has Devin Lloyd come up on a Guessing Lines Monday? We keep saying his name. Yeah. Defensive Player of the Month last month. He does it again. And with the Chiefs, the Jaguars are exactly who they said. They have to overcome so many errors, including, by the way, Trevor Lawrence getting caught picking his nose before that final drive. It's also That's also a big
director, error. ESPN director, you got to get off of him. Come on,
lingering on the nose picking extravaganza. Just keep showing it. Meanwhile,
There's little TV rules that everybody knows.
Meanwhile, Troy Aikman's like, "So the Jaguars let them score here?" No, Troy, they shouldn't.
Yeah. What was that?
I don't know. I was like, you're at the 5. It's not like a done deal. You already saw what happened with the Devin Lloyd pick, right? We're gonna just let him score now. I understand the point, but it seemed a little much at that moment. Anyway, that's my big takeaway from the game is, was Jacksonville the right side? It wasn't the wrong side, but I'm not sure it was the right side.
No, this was a Plinko finish,
Total
right?
Plinko.
Like, come on, this is. Part of the reason I wanted to stay away from this game, Gil, was I felt a little lower on both of these teams. So this was a great. I said it. I don't know how many times last week. I was really looking forward to just watching this game. I had no bets on it. Both impressed. I left away impressed by both. I had questions about. I thought people were making too much about that Kansas City win over Baltimore. How much are they really back to looking good? I thought it was another solid performance from them all around last night. And then, yeah, you're right. Jacksonville keeps shooting themselves in the foot, but it's a 31-28 win at home against Kansas City Chiefs.
By the way, 23 more survivor entries done with the Chiefs, so 75.18% gone is the official tally now, complete.
Get out of my way.
After 5 weeks. Kelly's coming for you. He's only got 15 weeks to get through. It'll be fine. Baseball with Mark Borchard. On the other side, it's a numbers game at VSiN.
Looking for an edge on NFL player props? VSiN Pro's new NFL player prop projections tool is here. It compares DraftKings lines with Opta-powered AI projections, so you can see where the numbers differ and spot potential value before you place your bets. Our player prop projections tool is available now, exclusively for VSiN Pro subscribers. Go to VSiN.com/props to check out this tool and more, only on VSiN, the sports betting network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, recap Monday Night Football. Look-ahead lines are out. Paul Stone to give out his best bets for Week 7 in college football. Jonathan Davis on the NHL season underway. He's in studio. Derek Stevens also to talk Carnage and all the contest updates here at Circa. And the tip jar is open. Mitch and Paulie's Pizzeria. Send in your plays. FTM@vsin.com. Follow the Money 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network, now Sirius XM channel 158.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Want to bet smarter? Start with Smarter Insights. Right now you can check out the NBA Betting Guide, our NFL and college football betting hubs for breakdowns of every game, and Greg Peterson's MLB Best Bets. Later today you can check out Jonathan Davis's NHL opening night picks, Wes Reynolds' weekend golf previews, and Tyler Shoemaker's early week NFL picks. Right now you can sign up for as little as $9.99 to access all the VSiN Pro articles. Just head to VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up today. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Y'all are the best. Tenalach. I wake up every morning to a tweet from Australia, Kelly. From
every day.
Tenalach. He says, I'm getting my teeth kicked in with these CLV killer turnarounds. Kansas City, the latest craziness, got -3 guessing lines, but even after all that punishment here, I'm taking solitude. I mean, if you mean solace, in fact, that you validated the early bet on the Colts, -5.5. We are sadists. Yes, we are. We're already ahead of that one. What could go wrong? Murphy, 11-8-21. Gil, are we sure that the Bengals cannot win the division? Oh, boy. Pre-flop, I'm deeply invested in the Ravens. Can't touch Pittsburgh at +110. But the Bengals at 18-1 with Burrow back in December may be sneaky value. Thoughts? Well, Murphy, I think it's so sneaky that I can't even see it.
Hey, if they don't lose every single game between now and December, you could be live.
They are looking for options at quarterback currently.
Just, come on, man. Get Jameis there already. What are we doing? What are we doing?
James. Bob C-137. Do you see all those total dweebs hold on to the ball all the way into the end zone last night? Cool points awarded, 0.0. Man, I was also on the Chiefs. The hits keep coming. Blanket Cardinals, he says. Yeah. 3Jack, H3131. That second Trevor Lawrence touchdown was a thing of beauty. Helped me cash a 90-1 ticket. Woo! Good for you. And then primetime, Cowboys_Cubs1. Yo, hey, man. Listen very closely and you can hear it. Duval, in the words of the great philosopher Marshall Mathers, lose yourself. Peace and love to you and your little buddy Kelly Bidlin. Thank you, primetime. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if he's ever been to Duval County, but he is at an undisclosed location somewhere in the desert. Talk baseball with us. You can follow him at BaseWinner on Twitter, basewinner.com, and, of course, the BetUS baseball show that he does daily. It's Mark Borchard, everybody. BaseWinner, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. Mark, good morning, sir.
Boom. Good morning, Gil. How are you enjoying the playoffs?
I am loving the playoffs. It's getting in game has been the only thing going my way these days. Well, tennis as well, but this in terms of juxtaposed against football anyway. Thank God, because I timed the Dodgers before the Teoscar homer the other day, and when the Cubbies went up 3-0 yesterday in the first, I immediately bet the Brewers +265, and it was even before you could blink. So I've been loving it. You?
No, that's good. Yeah, and I'm kind of struggling a little bit, honestly. It's tough for me to find value in some of these games. Sometimes you just can't figure it out. It's not easy all the time.
Well, let's talk about today's games. Again, we'll get to the National League, which are now both 2-0 series margins in a best of 5, with both the Dodgers and Brewers respectively taking commanding leads. Dodgers heading back to Chavez Ravine. Brewers now going to have to go to Wrigley. With the adjusted series prices there making sense. Cubs +550, Phillies 8-1 to win 3 straight and come back to get to the championship series. But as far as today, we are at 1-1 in the Seattle-Detroit series. We're headed back to Detroit today, weather permitting, I must add, weather permitting. This series knotted up at 1 apiece. Mariners are -130 on the adjusted series price. Tigers are +110. It's Logan Gilbert against Jack Flaherty today. I hear what you're saying about tough reads. I would imagine this is one of them. Let me ask you specifically in your handicapping, what do you do about a guy like Logan Gilbert? What is signal and what is noise on a guy who has really stark home road splits where he's got a 26.2% K rate on the road, 261 batting average, 158 versus at home where it's a 158 batting average against. So, and again, 0.76 whip at home, but 1.32 away. So in other words, his 32.3% K rate, which looks gaudy in general, it's just not the same on the road. Do you read into that when you do your handicapping?
I think that personally, Gil, it's a good question because personally I've got to do it a little bit more, I think. The problem is as you go down these splits, and you can do splits versus left on home during day, all kinds of stuff you can go, and the trickier you get, the more it's harder to kind of score that moving forward. So I think that there's some value there. I don't think you should take it as a, if you have an overall rating for a pitcher, say, okay, so these are pretty good ratings. Gilbert's a 2.62 base winner ERA versus Flaherty 3.63. And on the surface, you say, well, you got a full run advantage there. But I think that this is probably less than that. I don't know how much so. That's the $1 million question, right? So how and certain guys, and this is what makes it so challenging, Gil. Certain guys that would be, I think, moving forward predictive, and certain guys it would be noise. So I think, for me at least, when I'm in doubt, and the trickier I've gotten, the worse I think the reliability of the numbers are. So I think that you got to kind of err on the side of overall something that you think, or it has shown in the past to be moving forward more predictive, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I do, and that's why I asked the question, because it's one of these things where, you and I have handicapped baseball since the dawn of time, it feels like, and it's a different sport than it once was, and splits has always been a tough thing to figure out when it comes to projecting forward. But then, sometimes it's just undeniable with some players. I'm not sure if Gilbert falls into that category. With a guy like Flaherty, there's some splits as well. He's more than a run better ERA at home than he is on the road, that kind of thing. The biggest thing that has changed, I think, between then and now, though, is the percentage of quality starts per start for some of these guys that are starting playoff games, and consequential ones, right? Where it's like Gilbert, or as good as he is, 25 starts, he's only had 8 quality starts, right? Flaherty, 31 starts, he's only had 10 quality starts. I was talking about that with the Padres. Darvish had 15 starts this year. He only had 3 quality starts, and he's starting to live. So it's really tough because you don't know which version of these guys you're getting.
It depends on what your opinion is on quality starts too, and my opinion is pretty low. I mean, I hate to be negative here, but the quality start isn't something that I think is important. I think the strikeout percentage and the walk percentage, I think for me, you look at those and that's it's simple, but it's the 2 stats that are the most predictable for me. So quality starts.
So,
I don't even look at them.
Well,
sorry.
So okay, let's take that. Let's go with that, right? So you have with Gilbert a 32.3% K rate and a 5.8% walk rate, though again much lower on the road than at home, right? 26.2% K on the road, much higher at home. Flaherty, 27.6% K rate, 8.7% walk rate. It's kind of reflected in the line, right? The Mariners are a slight favorite in this game. Is there no play then on this one?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna play the Mariners. One of the things that I do, fortunately, and I think that's one of the reasons I haven't put as much emphasis on the splits as I think a lot of other people do, is I take the number, I adjust the stats for like the strikeout percentage. I think in Seattle it's like 10% or might be 12% greater as a whole. When you pitch in Seattle, you're going to strike out 12% more guys. So on my ratings that I use in the model, I take that out. So and it's significant. I mean, 12%. If you have 200 innings pitched or whatever, it's 20 or 100 innings pitched on each side. It's 10 strikeouts. So it does affect that. But today I think that I'm going to go with Gilbert and the Mariners. One of the things that I thought was interesting in this game is Julio Rodriguez on the road. To get a hit, it's like minus 230-ish or something, and it should be like, based on what he's done on the road versus right-handed pitching, it should be about minus 300. So I wanted to get kind of a plus money here, so I went with the Mariners and Julio Rodriguez to get a hit, Gil. And so in a same game parlay, plus 116. I thought that was a good idea for this one.
All right, J-Rod to get a hit, Mariners to win in a same game parlay from Mark. Toronto at New York. Yankees, the proverbial must-win situation, because these are elimination games now. They're down 2-0 at Yankee Stadium. They are a minus 152 favorite today. Rodon against Bieber. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Toronto here. I think Toronto has a value really by my modeling. Bieber's he's tricky, because if you look at his expected ERA on the season, it's pretty good. It's actually better than Rodon's. It's 3.28 overall, and Rodon's 3.79. There's some interesting advanced stats with the StatCast that don't support this position. But again, it's like I can't. I don't want to overanalyze. If you have something that you use and you're comfortable with, for me, it's a play on Toronto, and I think it's a good play.
Let me ask you this final question: of the 3 teams that are down 0-2, Yankees, Phillies, Cubs, which is the most likely to force a Game 5? Let's forget about winning it. To force a Game 5.
That's too hard of a question for me to answer, Gil.
Multi-layered for you?
No, it is. I can tell you the probabilities of the series right now. I got Toronto 84% to win. I got the Dodgers 90%, and I got the Brewers 86%. So I guess the team that has the most likely chance to win would be the Yankees.
By a hair. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right, Gil. Take it easy, man. Thanks.
NHL next with Jay Kahn.
There's no better time to join VSiN Pro. Right now, get started for just $9.99 for your first 30 days, or save 50% off with an annual subscription. As a pro user, you'll get our newly updated NFL betting guide, as well as the college football betting guide, the ultimate playbook packed with expert picks, team previews, and best bets. Plus, you'll unlock exclusive features like real-time betting splits, daily best bets, and full access to the VSiN Watch app. Don't miss out. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network. Get your edge this season with VSiN's College Football Betting Guide, exclusive to VSiN Pro subscribers. It's packed with 136 team previews, preseason top 25 rankings, and best bets from our experts. Pro subscribers also get the NFL Betting Guide, daily best bet emails, exclusive splits, and full access to our premium betting tools. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe for just $9.99 for your first 30 days, or save 50% with an annual pro subscription, and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a numbers game, live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander. And then there's Kelly Billin over there, producer number 9. So much more than a producer. Pounding away at his keyboard.
Was good with it.
Most heavy-handed keyboard striker I've ever run into.
Jay Con has a lot of bets for opening night in the NHL, okay?
Do we have Jake on?
No, we do not. Jake, you're late.
That's right. I guess I'm going to have to read tweets and filibuster.
He's busy betting and sending me stuff.
Mike Rouse, we get tweets at Beating the Book. Mike Rouse, thank you for passing this along. This is from Sam McDowell. The Chiefs were 28-0 in Mahomes starts when gaining 375-plus yards and allowing fewer than 350. The margin last night in total yards, which we didn't get to, 476 to 319. Sam McDowell asks rhetorically, if you replicate a formula that has produced a 28-0 record, is it really cause for alarm or just a frustrating night? It would be the latter.
Yep.
That was kind of my point. James Fessler, hoping that the second decision is actually just LeBron partnering with Make-A-Wish to donate all this season's stats to a kid in need like Bronny. So LeBron is having a second decision?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, we'll have something coming out today.
What are the options?
I don't know. I mean, I guess this is, with any regular human being, I would think it's the announcement that I'm retiring at the end of the year, which
that's what it's going to be.
Which is the most likely. He's also enters the year with the most, he does the 1-year deals or whatever.
Yeah.
He kind of hasn't added his option on for next year. So there is as much contract uncertainty around LeBron as in quite some time. So I would guess it's that, Gil, but it's LeBron. It wouldn't shock me if he was like, I'm going to retire in 3 years. Start the tour early.
He should be required to use the phrase, take my talent. So if it's take my talents to retirement, he should be required to say that.
Absolutely agree.
Jake Hahn is joining us, ladies and gentlemen, Talk NHL with us, co-host of the Point and the Fantasy Hockey Show on Sirius XM. You can follow him on Twitter at JHahn4. That's JHAHN4, the number 4. He joins us now courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. Jake, what's happening?
Boys, it is great to hear your voice again. It's great to be talking hockey again. I know the off season can be pretty short, but this one felt a little long. I don't know why. I'm just ready to get back into it. I've obviously been enjoying the baseball playoffs. I heard you guys talking about LeBron getting ramped up for the NBA season. Football is in full swing. So it is one of my favorite times of the year to be a sports fan. And now I can add hockey into the mix. I don't even have to wait that long. We got a 5 o'clock Eastern afternoon game, which would be 2 o'clock for you guys out there. So we get a little early hockey today, which is nice.
Let's get that out of the way first, because we have 3 games today. Let's get all your bets in game ones out of the way first, because I want to ask you more macro questions after that. What do you have today?
Well, I'm looking at this game. So we've got the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. We know how good they are. The narrative surrounding them going into this season is injury. Sasha Barkov looks like he's done for the year. Matt Tkachuk basically half the season. So they're going to be compromised. Their depth is going to be severely tested. They are a deep team. So they do have guys that are going to step up, fill some bigger roles, let's say, in that lineup. And then on the other side of the ice, you get the Chicago Blackhawks, who are a slow rebuild, I'll say. Year 3 of Connor Bedard, year 2 is extremely disappointing. And I'm going to start with Bedard, Gil. Very disappointing year for him last year. In year 2, after a great rookie season, didn't shoot the puck a lot, which was almost perplexing for a guy with such a great shot that you would think Chicago would want to get the puck to in all shooting situations. So I'm going to his shots on goal here game 1. I'm hoping a different mindset for him after that disappointing season. And we're getting plus money because I think the respect in the market to the Florida Panthers and the fact that he didn't shoot really at all last year, or as much as people thought he was going to. And I also love Sam Renzel on the back end, another young player for Chicago. Looks like he's going to run their power play. You can get a really nice value with him for 3 shots. He looks like he's ready to fire from the back end as well. So maybe you want to play the point props as well, look into that market. But I think both of these kids should come out firing early in the season, not just tonight, but something I'll be looking for in these early games with the Blackhawks this year.
Some SOG bets from Jake right out of the chute there for you, Kelly.
He knows what the audience wants here.
Exactly.
What I want.
Kelly,
you also have the Kings money line tonight as well?
Yeah. Yeah, so looking through obviously it's tough to get a read on these teams, as you guys know, early season for really any sport, right? You're kind of playing the guessing game a little bit. Maybe you're using what you've seen from these teams in previous years. I'm not somebody that reads much into the preseason. I think that's more of a warm-up act for the veteran guys. Okay, maybe a tryout for some of the younger players. But I just like the Kings at home. They've been a good home team. That's really what it comes down to for me. Colorado's an excellent team as well. If this game was played in Colorado, I'd probably be looking to bet them because they are also an excellent home team. So I'm going to hope that the Kings kind of pick up where they left off. I think we're getting a pretty fair price, basically a pick 'em at this point between these two sides, depending on where you look right now. So I'll go with the LA Kings. I think it's going to be a close game. And on the Colorado side of things, guys, again, back to the SOG bet, no one shoots the puck more than Nathan MacKinnon in this league. And the Kings are a tough matchup for shots on goal, but we're getting a pretty fair number. He usually sits at 5 shots on goal. Is what you need to hit the over. Tonight, we're only looking for 4 from him. I think in a game that I'm hoping Colorado's maybe trailing by a goal at some point in the third period, that MacKinnon's going to have to be firing a little bit. So MacKinnon 4 shots, and I'll take a stab on the Kings money line.
Okay, and then another shots on goal prop in the Penguins-Rangers game.
Yeah, so look, the Penguins are going to be bad this year, guys. There's really no doubt about it. Now, there's a couple of names here maybe we can get excited about, but, potentially even trade candidates at some point as the season goes on. A lot of people are talking about, okay, Sidney Crosby, is he going to really finish his career out on a bad Penguins team, or would he entertain going somewhere else? Everything he says he wants to be a Penguin and stay around here. So as long as Sid's there, they're going to have at least a little bit of juice in that top 6 and on that power play unit. I don't think they're just going to get smoked every night. I think they are going to be able to compete offensively. I do like this Rangers team to bounce back this year after missing the playoffs last year. So I have some interest in them in some of these early games, maybe not necessarily with the price tonight, but Rickard Rakell is somebody I'm going to be looking at for point props and shots on goal props early in the year. I think he's being overlooked, and even doing some fantasy drafts and stuff before the season. A guy nobody was really touching, but I think people forget he was just under a point per game last year. He was still very productive on a bad Penguins team, and he's going to have that attachment to Sidney Crosby, attachment to the first power play, and he seems to be the guy they want to get in those shooting areas. So I'll go to Rakell 3 shots, maybe play him for a point in that game tonight, even though I don't really love the Penguins' chances this year.
All right, you mentioned Connor Bedard there. Let's get to some season longs. I know you are bullish on Connor Bedard of the Blackhawks in terms of 30-plus goals. Talk about that, and then your other 3 season-long goal-scoring props, if you would.
Yeah, I think what I'm bullish on for Bedard is just the value and the number that we're getting. A guy that going into last year, the perception around him was, can he score 40? We were talking about him, okay, is this going to be the 40-goal season, the big breakout? Now, he didn't even come close to that, and now we're getting plus money just for 30. That's how much things have changed, I think, in the perception of Bedard, and everybody's kind of down on the Blackhawks, and I'm not necessarily high on the Blackhawks doing anything special this year, but I do think with the reset button, I'm willing to give a kid that was 20 years old last year a pass for kind of an off year. And I hope he's coming in with that mindset I mentioned before, shooting the puck a lot more. And we're getting plus money for 30 goals, something I didn't think we were going to come close to getting if you told me that going into last year. So I just like the value on the play, and I'm hopeful he can bounce back. And there's just not a whole lot of other guys in that lineup that I think are going to be scoring goals. Dylan Guenther's another name I really like. Utah Mammoth, I think they're going to generate a lot of offense this year. Kind of take your pick on players. If you're looking for season-long props, I think that's a team you could definitely attack. But zeroing in on Dylan Guenther, a guy that loves to rip the puck, 30 goals, we can get plus money there. Another young player, kind of a theme of this card, Gil, Jimmy Snuggerud in St. Louis, 20 goals at plus money as well. He's going to be starting the year on the first line, the first power play for St. Louis. He played playoff games with them last year. I don't even mind him for a look in the Calder Trophy as well if he's going to be getting that assignment all year long, but 20 goals for Snuggerud. And I'll round it out with a name everybody knows, especially with what happened yesterday and the contract extension, but Connor McDavid for 40-plus goals at plus money. Some quotes from him saying he wants to score more and shoot more this year like he did in his 60-plus goal season. He's always been pass-first guy, but he can score. He really can when he wants to and he decides to. And if that's his mindset going into this year, I think 40 should be very easy for him. You could maybe even play that up to 50 if you want to get like a little bit of a bigger plus money on it. So McDavid for 40 for me.
He was never leaving Edmonton, was he, Jake? Come on.
I don't think so. But the way that he was talking in some of these interviews a couple of weeks ago, I thought, oh boy, if I'm an Oilers fan right now, I'm not exactly loving what he was saying. And look, maybe he's just keeping the cards to the vest. He's not going to say too much. But to me, he didn't sound like a guy that was going to sign anytime soon. But I always did think if he's going to sign an extension, it's not going to be during the season. He's going to get it done before the season starts. He doesn't want that distraction. He's a competitor. He just wants to focus on playing hockey. So I'm not surprised that he signed yesterday. I am just surprised at the low amount of money that he signed for. The 2 years didn't surprise me, but just taking 12.5. Now, when we talk about team discounts, guys, that might be one of the biggest team discounts I've seen in professional sports. I don't think I've seen anything like that before for him to take 12.5. It was just, he could have taken 15, 16, and we would have thought that would have been a huge team discount. So he wants to win. He wants to surround himself with better players. And if you're an Oilers fan, you're really happy with what happened yesterday.
Real quick, Jake, I'm going to ask you if you could just stay a few minutes after the break, because I want to ask you a couple more questions. Florida has not only going for the three-peat, but they beat Edmonton twice. Do you see how do you feel about that generally? Do you think it's a three-peat this year? Do you think Edmonton gets back to the finals?
Edmonton tends to start slow every year for whatever reason. I don't know if that's going to be the case again this year. I think I'd be looking for a number maybe mid-season on Edmonton. I'm not betting them right now, but kind of wait and see what we get. Maybe they make some moves. I'd like to see them improve the goaltending as well.
All right, more with Jake on the other side and Survivor Talk next.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim is the only thing like it in the world.
Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
Lesson number 1, Patty's back. I still believe that Caleb Williams is not any good. And, other than Roma Dunze, I don't trust anyone that can't run the ball.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Basketball is here. Basketball is my favorite sport, Kelly. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. I just came up with that. Just came up with that.
Well done.
Basketball season ready to tip off, and the VSiN experts have been hard at work tracking the latest player moves to help you bet smarter. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today for as little as $9.99 for your first month, and get all our all-new NBA betting guide featuring previews and power ratings on all 30 teams, best bets and futures from the VSiN experts, player prop and live betting strategies, plus senior NBA analyst Jonathan Von Tobel's favorite title bets. Give yourself an edge this season and get our all-new NBA betting guide along with a full month of VSiN Pro for just $9.99 at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. He's kind enough to join us for a second segment because you cannot confine hockey, a preview, to one segment alone. Jake Hahn, ladies and gentlemen, at JHahn4 once again on Twitter, co-host of The Point and the Fantasy Hockey Show on SiriusXM. Now with the video of Jake.
There we go.
Is that a Utah Mammoth jersey?
Now you could see it's a player shirt. For those that really know the team, the captaincy tag on it on the other side. We'll give it away easily. It's Clayton Keller, number 9 on the back. A player. Honestly, we went through some player props before we hit the break. I know I mentioned Dylan Gunther, a guy that's going to score a lot. Clayton Keller could be in for a massive season. So I like them. I like the look. I know. I think Kelly, you mentioned you're a little disappointed at the lack of the Yeti and what happened there, but I think settling on Mammoth, the color, the look, they did pretty good with this. I'm happy about it.
A lot of people don't know this, but the Yeti himself, the abominable snowman, was like, you cannot use, it's my trademark. You can't use it. That's why they went with the Mammoth. It's a true story.
He's a stickler.
Special numbers game investigation. So, okay, let's start with this first. And I don't usually ask Vegas-centered questions, but people here just love the Golden Knights so much. The Hurricanes are actually the short shot to win it all this year, Jake, plus 750. Then it is, the Lightning are 8-1. Then you got your usual suspects: Oilers plus 850, Avalanche 9-1. The Golden Knights are at 9-1. This is the thing about hockey, and this was the case last year too, pre-flop. You have more teams jammed up at the top of a title board than you do in any other major sport. Where do the Golden Knights fall in the pecking order for you? Where does a team like the Leafs fall in all of this as well? The Leafs famously not having won a cup since 1967. We know that stat so well.
Well, and those teams are going to be tied together at the hip all season, right? With Mitch Marner going from Toronto to Vegas. And, okay, what's that mean for Vegas? We know they were a good team already, but you add a dynamic player, 100-plus point potential player in Mitch Marner, that offense, like they could be lethal this year. Now, they're going to be down Alex Pietrangelo on the back end, which is a pretty huge loss for what he brings on and off the ice. But I think they have the pieces. They've got Noah Hannafin. They've got Shea Theodore back there. They've got some good names. I think the blue line will be just fine. So I like Vegas a lot. I think you could really make the case that going into this season, they're the best team in the Western Conference, at least on paper. Now it's got to come together and you got to see how it all works, but dangerous home team, a team that's proven themselves before, at least a lot of players on that roster. So out of that grouping at the top, Gil, like if we're taking that, for basically that whole left side of the board that you've got there, Vegas would probably be in my top 2 of teams that I would be interested in actually backing at those numbers. And then you look at the other side and you look at the Leafs. 20-1 to me is a crazy number to see on the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's twice basically what we'd usually be getting with this Maple Leafs team. And I don't know if that's just Mitch Marner leaving. I mean, he's a great player, but the narrative around him was that he can't get it done in the playoffs, that he's a good regular season player, and playoff time, he kind of wilts away. And that was the case many years. So I think this Maple Leafs team is still really strong. They've got 2 elite goal scorers in Austin Matthews and William Nylander, decent blue line, really deep goaltending. When Wall and Stolarz are both healthy, maybe the best goaltending tandem in the league. So the Leafs at 20-1 actually have a lot of interest for me, despite the fact of what you mentioned, Gil, and that long cup drought. I just think that's a pretty healthy number on them.
Yeah, you also like the Leafs in another market, though, right? Even more than that.
I think this is, I mean, obviously you're not going to get 20-1 in this market, but you're still getting around 3-1 for the Leafs to win the Atlantic Division. I just don't think there's too many teams that could really test them here. Now, Florida's Florida, but even a healthy Florida team, I don't think they're that interested in winning the Atlantic Division. They just kind of slow play the regular season. They're like, who do we got round 1 of the playoffs? Wake us up then. We don't care if we're on the road or we're at home. We'll take on anybody. And I think with 2 massive injuries, that's how Florida's going to have to treat this season. I still think they're going to find a way to make the playoffs, but to win the Atlantic, I think would be asking too much of them. Tampa Bay is the favorite in this market right now, and I think Tampa's going to be right there with Toronto all season long, but you're just getting a much better number on a team that won this division last year that despite Mitch Marner leaving, I still think is an excellent team that's going to generate a lot of offense and play well defensively. So Maple Leafs, I shop the number a little bit, but around plus 300 to win the Atlantic, I think is a really fair price.
There you go. Leafs to win the Atlantic 3-1. Everybody listening on Game Plus up in Toronto, there you go. Let's go. Let's get it done this year. And then let's talk a trophy here, specifically the Calder Trophy. As my little buddy Kelly Bidlin can tell you, the Calder Memorial Trophy, given to the player selected as the most proficient in his first year of competition in the NHL. You were just about to say that.
That's right. I'm about to fire on Jimmy Snuggs here.
Are you?
Great, what a great hockey name.
What do we have to say about this market?
I think I've already sold Kelly on Jimmy Snuggs. Like I think he's on NHLshop.com right now looking for a Snuggerud shirt to maybe match my Clayton Keller shirt here. But he's an exciting young player, and I like the fact that he got a taste of it last year. Right, it's a small sample size, but he got forced into playoff games, high intensity playoff games, and I think part of it's going to be, wow, you'll go to the regular season. This is kind of easy compared to what I was doing in those playoff games, and it was so physical. So he showed well in those games. He's going to get a chance on the first power play with St. Louis. So I don't mind him. He's the second player on the board right now, around 10-1 in some spots. But the name I really like is Zeev Buium out in Minnesota. Another fun name to say for Kelly. Maybe he can add him to the list there. But he looks like he's going to run the first power play. Now Minnesota gets Kirill Kaprizov done. Biggest contract in NHL history, $17 million per year. So they get their star player locked up. I think they're a team that's being severely underrated. Even if you go back to the cup market, I think they're hanging around 50-1 in some spots. Minnesota, to me, is going to be a dangerous team this year. I really think they're going to make a lot of noise. And Zeev Buium, if he's running that power play all season, he could rack up some points, maybe similar to what we saw Lane Hudson do to win the award last year for the Montreal Canadiens. So Demidov's the favorite for a reason, but I just think way too short of a number. I'd rather look to guys like Snuggerud and Zeev Buium, who I think can build a really strong case.
Hey, Kelly, going to try to include Snuggerud in every hockey conversation now this year.
I will this
He's
year.
Obsessed with the name.
Zeev is a good one, too. There's some incredible names, actually, on the Calder list here.
Last thing, because we've had some people ask, we've been doing these for 2 seasons now. We've been doing these MLB monthly markets, most wins. Last year, really good and competitive. This year, not at all. So people have been asking, hey, is Jake going to do October most points or monthly most points? Did you get around to schedule analysis on this, or should we count on you for a subsequent month?
Next time I want to do this so I can kind of look through the schedule and find some good value for you guys, because I actually love this market, and I love the sweat because look, some people don't want the season long sweat, right? Like I gave out some goal props or some season long goals, and it is fun to sweat those all season long, but you gotta wait a while to get that cash, right? And the short term sweat maybe not enough for some people. This is kind of that nice middle ground of, okay, I could get a few weeks, a month sweat out of this, and see if I can find some value. So I quickly did look through it, though. Connor McDavid for most goals in October. I kind of ties in with my McDavid prop and some of the things that he's been saying that, okay, I'm going to shoot more, I'm going to score more. Haven't exactly looked at the schedule and how many games he plays compared to some of the other guys. But if I think he's just going to hit the ground running and have that kind of mindset, I don't mind that number on a guy like Connor McDavid that could certainly run it up in the goal scoring department.
All right, Jake. Exciting time of year with hockey starting tonight with 3 games going up against a couple baseball games, or maybe one. We'll see if weather permits on the other. And, of course, it begins, and we'll be here all the way through the end of the Stanley Cup Finals. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
I'll be doing a balancing act tonight, guys, watching the first night of NHL hockey, and hopefully my Blue Jays sweeping the Yankees.
Wow.
I would like to see that. I do have Game 5 tickets on Friday. I hope I can just burn them and not use them. I don't want to be going to that game Friday night.
So you know what? You segue nicely into what I asked Mark Borchard at the end of the last segment. Which of the 3 teams down 0-2 does he believe is the most likely to force a Game 5? And he went through his math. And it was a very, for him, it was just, hair thin. And it was, the Cubs slightly, I believe, was his answer by just percentage points. Was it the Cubs that he said percentage points, I believe?
I think so.
But it was all over 80% possibility that those series will not get there. I believe the reason I ask is because I think the answer to the question is the Yankees. I really do believe that they have the best shot of the teams that are down 0-2. With apologies to the Phillies and the Cubs, I think it's the Yankees, and I think it begins today. But he did like the value on the Blue Jays today. Do I know you want to rip it up, but do you have that feeling, that sinking feeling that it's going to get to a Game 5?
I think you always do. Being around Toronto sports teams, Gil. It's just you always kind of feel like the sky is going to fall until it doesn't. So we'll see. They are a different team on the road than they are at home. We saw them score 23 runs in 2 home games. They don't quite get the offense going on the road as much, but I love the matchup against the lefty in Rodon tonight. I do like the value on that money line, but I've got too much emotional interest. I'll probably personally be staying away, but I'm hoping they just close it out tonight. Let me enjoy hockey the rest of the week.
I know the answer to this, but I'll ask anyway. If I say the Yankees sweep now in 3 straight games, but I give you a Leaf Stanley Cup, you'll take that, right? You'll take that trade.
Yeah, probably. Probably would take that.
Probably. Oh, wow. I thought that was